What's up, guys? Odds and Ends RC here. Today we're going to be putting together this RC four-wheel drive long wheelbase Trail Finder 2 chassis. I'm sure you've seen many unboxings on these before, so I'm just going to unpack everything and then kind of go over any trouble spots I run into when I put it together. Let me get everything out of the box and come back. Alright, I got everything unpacked out of the box. All RC four-wheel drive stuff comes packed very nice, neatly in the box. Here's your frame rails and your cross braces. That's going to be step one, putting those together. Your hardware bag A. This has your leaf springs and your shocks and a few odds and ends, battery tray, axles. Toyota 2 axles, very nice quality as expected. These are the wagon wheels and tires it comes with. You have to put them together. It's a transmission. It's a 2-speed transmission. I'll be putting it in for now, but later on I'm going to switch over to probably the R4 or a GCM transmission. Transfer case. There's your mount for your transfer case. Big boat anchor that hangs down and drags on everything. Hardware bags. Just all the screws and nuts and everything. And it even comes with shock oil and some grease and some thread locker, it looks like. So pretty much everything you need to come put together. This is a kit version, so it doesn't come with any electronics or body or anything like that. It's basically what I wanted. I'm putting this together for a truck conversion on an RC4WD Drive Blazer. You'll see in another video. I needed the long wheelbase for the truck, for the longer wheelbase truck. So that's what I bought this for. But let me get a few steps put together, and then we'll join back in and catch up. Alright, guys. After about probably 25-30 minutes, this is where I've got so far. Everything's very easy. Follow the book instructions here. Just remember to thread lock everything. Every bolt that goes into metal, use thread lock on. Because if you don't, it will vibrate loose later. Like if you have a screw that goes into plastic or something like that, don't thread lock that, because the thread lock will actually eat the plastic. You're just doing your metal to metal connections. You know, if the screw goes into metal, then put some thread lock on it. I left out the rock sliders that go on the side. I won't be using that on my build. And I won't be using the plastic front bumpers, and there's a couple little pieces that go on this battery tray here I won't be using, so I left them off. But just the basic frame, everything so far straightforward, nothing confusing in the instructions, just easy to do. Next step, I'm gonna be doing the leaf springs and the axles and some of the drivetrain, but thought I'd make a quick update on where I'm at. Overall, great build. Okay, guys, made a little progress here. I got the transfer case in, nothing to that, just 2 screws that holds it on, and then you have your little short drive shaft here, and it has a carrier bearing that you slip in this cross member. Nothing to that. As far as the leaf springs go, they're a little vague on that, but it's easy to figure out. They kind of show you that the leaf springs look like they're already come together. They do not. You have to stack them. You know, your shortest leaf is on the bottom, and then your longest leaf is on the top. And then you stick the bolts through them and screw it to the axle. Not a big deal, but thought I'd touch on that. And they kind of show you just building the front, putting together the front. They don't really elaborate on the rear, but in step 27 on the rear, they're showing lock nuts on the bottom of these, and that is not the case. I'm not sure why they show that, if that's for the old version axles and these are the Yoda 2 axles, but they do not call for the nuts, so don't spend any time looking for them. They're just kind of a mistake in the instructions. As far as the shocks go, that's one of the biggest problems I have with these. So these come, I think these are 70 millimeter shocks in the front, and they have springs in them when you get them. And the kit includes shock oil. Do not put shock oil in these shocks. It will run straight out the bottom and make a mess everywhere. The first couple times you squish it down, it'll run out the bottom. If anything, just put a drop inside to kind of lubricate the spring or to lubricate the piston in there. That's kind of what I did. I actually leave the springs out because these leaf springs are already way too stiff. If anything, later on I'll take one of the leaves out, or I'll buy a softer set for this. But they're already way too stiff unless you got an extremely heavy body going on here. I just take them out. I took all 4 springs out of all 4 corners, and you know, these are just shock absorbers, kind of just for looks. All your spring is in your leaf down here. Another thing you can do is, if you want to actually mimic the shock absorber, if you want to slow down the slide of it, you can experiment with different greases. This is the grease it came with. You could try that. It's like for the front and rear differential grease. You know, if you want to kind of slow down the movement of the shock to replicate a real shock absorber, you can put some grease in it. Experiment with different thicknesses of grease, you know, to get what you want. Just kind of different options, but you know, do not fill these up with shock oils. It will run out the bottom. Other than that, everything was pretty straightforward. I'm getting ready to move on to the transmission and the steering links and stuff like that. So we'll touch back on that after I get that put on. Alright guys, I got her done. At least as far as I want to take it. For the body I'm using, I'm not going to use some of the stuff it came with. But got the transmission in. That was pretty easy. Nothing to that. I'm not using the 2-speed part of the transmission. And I probably won't use the whole transmission. I'm probably going to get the R4 scale transmission or a GCM transmission or something else. I'm probably not going to use this, but for now I just blocked off the 2nd speed. This is a 2-speed transmission, and I'm not a big fan of the higher speed. You know, I don't ever use it, so I just put a little spacer in there for now that holds it in the 1st gear. Didn't really run into any other issues. Drive shafts went on great. They won't be staying long. I get some scale drive shafts. These are kind of bulky in my opinion. But got the servo in, all the steering links. Everything went smooth with that. No issues. Definitely be doing something different back here on this suspension. This is so stiff. I put my whole arm's weight on here and it will barely go down. Probably gonna get some softer ones for the back, or take a leaf out for now or something. That's just way too stiff. I mean, I know they're stiff and they get a little better with time and usage, but that's just way too stiff compared to the other ones I bought. The wheels and tires. If you never done these beadlock wheels before, these are not a good set to start on. I'm not a good teacher at these, but it takes patience, is all I can say. 3 of these went together great, you know, probably 10 minutes a piece on them. And then I had a 4th one that I just had to fight for an hour. It just would not center out straight when you started tightening down the bolts. For some reason, one part of the wheel kept bulging out, and that's just the way this stuff is. Sometimes you're going to have that, and sometimes it'll go really smooth. Best thing is just have some patience, take your time, walk away from it if it stresses you out. But that's about all I can tell you on that. But overall, I love these things. These are just a great starting format for a scale truck build. You know, especially if the truck you're going after has leaf springs. There's not much else out there that you're going to get leaf springs. I know they make a conversion kit for axial, but they look kind of goofy. I mean, this is your best platform for a scale leaf spring truck, you know, Jeep, whatever you're trying to build. This is a great platform to start from. But yeah, just kind of touched over everything I had issues with. Overall, it's a great kit. You know, it's one of my favorites, but with anything, you know, it's going to have some issues. But yeah, keep looking out for newer videos. I'm doing a Chevy truck build, converted a Blazer to a truck, and be turning it into kind of a special old TV show truck. So if you want to stay tuned for that and watch for future videos, and you know, I'll slowly convert this thing over and make it scale as possible. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.